I'm going to talk about peer-to-peer lending or investment and data mining and how I build some simple data product, what I actually use and I do investment. So then I was looking for information, what is the difference between peer-to-peer lending or investment. I wasn't able to find. However, Wikipedia has lending and investment as different pages, and there is supposed to be difference, but I wasn't able to find. So, what is it peer-to-peer lending? The problem that it tries to solve is to avoid common financial institutions, and instead of banks, you have a platform or company as a service, and it's allow you as a borrower to borrow cheaper or as a lender to lend money at a higher interest rate. However, you have middleman as a service, like a company who serves, who provides such service. But they do for that good job because all borrowers has to go through screening, meaning what the screen information what borrowers provide. It's employment, salary, and family status. All these documents are sent to the service provider, and they have to do cross-check. So, as I mentioned, both sides wins and middleman gets its share as well. So around the world there are a bunch of platforms. In US we have Prospers, and then UK has more but few, and then there is in France, in Spain, I found in Poland, in Netherlands, everywhere. However, the problem is, I can't say with majority of them, but most of them promise you fixed rate, which doesn't make sense for me, but it does. So basically you go as an investor and they say, okay, we promise you 6% per year, and that's it. And another problem with these platforms, but they are mostly local. So if the company or the service provider works in Spain, it allows you to lend in Spain for Spanish people, and you have to be as investor in Spain, or at least you have to have their bank account. So for me, it looks like a limitation. However, on the bottom of the list, we have Bondora, which about I'm going to talk today. And Bondora has advantages because they issue loans in 4 countries, but fourth is probably non-existent. It issues loans in Estonia, Finland, and Spain. They started in Estonia as an Estonian company. And what is good, it accepts lenders from across the Europe. So any of you, if you are European, or at least you have a bank account in Europe, you can send them money and they will take care of it. So, and another good thing is that the interest rate on loans is not fixed. However, you have to take into account that when it's not fixed, so you're getting that higher risk because higher interest rate because the risk is higher. So if your account goes down because you made stupid decisions, it's your fault. Nobody can promise anymore you 6% as other services do. So now I want to show you, and the last point is what is nice is the data about all loans is freely available. You can go to website. On the bottom you can find the data or something like that, and you can download and you can play and you can build on the Spotify model.
how are these data about loans anonymized?
It never gives you a name or family name. It's only ID, and people writes where you come from. For example, you can find like it's you have to type. So it's in some cases it's like Tallinn, in some cases it's Tallinna, probably it's Estonian, and so that's it what you can get according to location. So neither you have name, neither you have location.
So ID, location, and amount, and that's it.
But even location is freehand. It's like handwritten, let's suppose. So even that is not good point to take a look. So I would love to then anonymize that data set, but I think it's not in my abilities.
The question really was, if the loan describes what it's going to be used for, that's dangerous, because if I'm the only bicycle shop in this small village and you have an ID, location, and then purpose of the loan, enlarging my bicycle store, it's very easy to reconstruct who that person is.
Especially if you've like a record linkage attack. Have you heard of this? It's like when you take data, you join it with the other data you had. They use it on Netflix stuff, and you're really able to anomalize it.
Well,
So
you can do, but with other big data sets, but like from I don't know, salary office or something like that. Then maybe you will be able to link it. But so far no, and the purpose is like 3 groups or 4 groups. It's like refinancing, is business loan, and like travel, pleasure, and that's it. It's not so many groups. So now this is loans per month. So it's really interesting graph. If you are startup, you probably dying for such a graph, because this I suspect that you started in 2009, and until 2013 the business was so, and the red line is funded loans, and blue is total amount of all requested. So you see what in the past almost all loans were funded, but when since 2014 there is a gap between them. So now here in this graph we can see the loans per country. So it's like borrowers from Spain were dominating until 2014, and in 2014 I suspect the company moved into Spain and Finland, and you can notice that it's the grow because of the countries. However, I suspect that it's not the only cause of the growth. The duration of the loans shifted as well, and until 2013 they didn't have loans longer but 3 years, and since 2013 it started to allow loans for 5 years, and you can immediately notice that majority now comes from 5 years loans. So the data has 30,000 loans, and it has today 172 columns, and this is interface, because later on I will show how I use that interface to automate. An interface provides the same information, in some cases maybe more information, and information about borrower is, I would say, quite extensive. In the past I saw what banks are using for credit scoring, and they had less, but Bondora provides provides in its platform. So it's like income, but it comes, it's net salary, pension, child benefits, then we have what kind of liabilities, and below it's like existing liabilities. So the borrower can fill what existing liabilities he has for other institutions, like for banks or for whatever companies.
And was this data verified, or was it just borrower you can enter just some data here if you want, or if you don't want, or how was this?
The question is what kind of information
Was this verified? So
yeah, now there is an icon here around.
Okay.
If it's green, the income is verified.
Okay, so some official documents or something.
Yes, yes, and the service provider verified. In some cases, the data might be not verified, but then the icon will be different. And in dataset, you have a column saying about the status. Now I have historical data, so I start the building model, and the first question, like what kind of outcome I'm going to use. So basically, is it classifier, or I want to stick with numerical data? So I opted for yes no outcome, or is true, is a fraud, or is not true. I could go like with more difficult and keep some numerical how much fraud was committed and so on. But for me it was okay. Let's start with simple one. Now the funny thing started. Then I started to think about good and bad loans. Like okay, there is a fraud. So the good one is okay. The loan was paid. I got an interest rate. That's fine. I'm cool. However, now let's define what is bad loan. Then we will say what loan was really bad. The data set has like columns. It was late for 7 days, it was late for 14 days, it was late for 21, and then it was like declared for bankruptcy. Like, so what is the trigger? So at the beginning I said, okay, 21, it's like, it's a lot, and I thought, okay, we need to define this bad one as 21. And I started to plan, and my prediction was around 80%. And I just did a trick, and I say, okay, let's see how the model is going to perform if it's if the loan is written off, and the borrower declared bankruptcy, and then model spiked to 95%, and I say, oh great, I found. And then I started to think about the problem, and for me it really made a sense. So imagine a borrower. So these guys who go to that platform, they really have rough life because of environment, maybe they're stupid, you name it. Because they pay like 15, 20, in some cases 50% for the loan, they really might be in troubles to keep paying the loan. However, if some guy was in trouble for 20 days, and then he come back, paid the loan, paid the interest rate, paid the charge for late payments, I'm even better. I mean, he's still paying. If he was in trouble and then he was reminded via court, yeah, it's maybe not good, but as investor, for me, it's higher risk. We have to take into account. But I was paid off. So for me, it was only fraud. Then somebody borrowed money and run away. Then I say, okay, this, because another column what you have how much the borrower paid back. And if he never paid back you, so it's really he came to the platform, commit a fraud from day one.
Do you know how many of those actually died?
But my question, which I was interested, is like, what happens then? Is it insured or not? It's like, if someone dies, is it loan insured against that or not?
Okay.
But I didn't find time to
Do a survival analysis of the people who didn't
because
pay that
the
much.
company might have the company may have a broader insurance policy to be paid back when somebody dies. So it might be. I never looked for proof. So another thing what caused me problems is business shifting the business model. So as in previous example, so I showed you what there was only a country where loans were issued was Estonia. Additionally, they were issuing up to 3 years loans. And in 2013, they started acting differently, and they got great business. However, in the data sets, you don't have any loan which is matured, 5 years loan which is matured, meaning you don't have data about 5 years. You can see what there is such loans, and some guys are still paying, but there is no which is finished. So what I did, I took 5 years loans, and if the loan is still paying, I marked it as finished loan, as matured, and as good one. So I did a trick, and it worked. So now we come to feature engineering, and so there comes. For me, feature engineering is most important after cleaning. What I found after a few data mining projects, but if you want to increase accuracy of the model, try to do something with features. So, for example, what I just merged 2 features into one, and I got like plus 2%. Additionally, what I did, I plugged in Wix data index. Those who are not familiar with what is a Wix index, this is index which is based on the S&P 500 index. It's a stock market, and then stock market goes up. Usually it means calm times. Stock goes day by day for like 0.5% up. However, if it's crisis, the index goes like plus 2 or minus 2% per day. It can go minus 10%. Another day it's plus 15. So immediately Wix index is just like beats per day.
Volatility.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's not written here. So yeah, it's volatility if you familiar, and it's actually, to my amazement, it works. Think about that. Companies in Estonia, the cycles of businesses are different. However, now we are like world is much more integrated, and it works. And take into account what Big Data says, what is happening today. It doesn't say what is going to happen within 5 years. But so far it works.
It's a little bit different, because this volatility is not a historical volatility, it's the volatility from the implied volatility from the stock options on the S&P 500.
Yeah.
So actually that is looking into the future.
But I did quite simple research. There is no difference about between the implied volatility and real volatility.
Oh, don't say this to a trader.
To trader maybe, but if you look at pure data, you can do your own, like what we're talking about in statistics is standard deviation. It's almost the same. I mean, implied volatility because you take options and then out of options you try to build the index. Yeah, but what you can do, you can take a S&P index and see how the value of the index fluctuates, and do the same as a VIX index. So, but for me, was strange. But the country was far away, but it still tracks that.
Yeah, but then how do you use it?
The data. So I just merge. I take for example, if the loan is issued on Monday, so I take the value of the index on Monday.
These loans are personal loans.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it only when the loan is issued or when people are expected to pay?
Issued on when it's issued. Yeah. So now we comes to the metrics, and because you guys are hardcore machine learning specialists, it's probably nothing much to add. But so what we have here is like this is true data, and this is my model predicted, and then if data says true and my model says true, then we have true positive. Then my model says false, and the data is false. It's true negative. And then there is when my model says that it's false, but my model says that it's true, but it's really false. Here, what I am saying, my model says that okay, this borrower is a fraud. However, the data says no, it's normal guy. However, if you think about the problem, I don't really care about that, because I just missed one investment out of 100 per day. So if I say mark one guy as a fraud, I mean he can blame me, but sorry. However, what I'm really interested is these errors type 2 when actually this is a fraud and I missed that. So my model is like my matrix is like true positives divided by sum of true positive and false negatives, because I really care about this part of the error.
So you target to have 100% of detection rate of the fraud.
Yes.
So this is
Yes. Because as you said, I can live if somebody delays and they still pays.
Other fields, they have more focus on the other type of errors. So it depends on the problem.
But this is my.
Yeah. I mean, I
So now we come back to random forest. I'm happy because whatever is problem, I throw random forest and then I look what's happened. And
So does everyone else in the room, to be honest.
Paulus, who left, he always makes the jokes on me, like, okay, it's only random forest for you, no, nothing else. Like, if you want to sum 2 plus 2, you will use random forest for that one. Yeah, it's good, huh? So, any data you give it, and more or less it will eat. And what is another thing? It's like mechanism, how it works. It's easy to understand random forest. It's like, okay, it's trees, it's randomized trees, but it's easy to explain. However, it's black box. So as I mentioned before, if you need to explain the rules, you can't do that. You can say, okay, it works, but you don't know how it comes up with outcome. And the third, why I love it, it gives you weight of all features. So my procedure is like, okay, obtain dates of the features. Like if I have 172, I have more because some fields were by classes, so I had to introduce them values, and out of 170 maybe I got 500. So, and my standard procedure to get weights and then start from 60 downwards, like 60, 40, 20, 8, and to see if the model works better or worse. And then I know how many I would use in the future. So now, once I have a list of the features, what I did, I tried different models like trees, normal trees, to see how does it work, and then I tried the SVM, GMB, and then I never try neural networks. For me, it's a big problem to use, so I never tried. And I try some linear models, but the performance of all these three were the best. So now I don't know. We never talk about blending, so I don't know if you are aware about. So I use very simple technique. So I take prediction of every three of them, and if all of them predict what is a good loan, then I do investment. If one of them says but it's a fraud, I mark it as a fraud and I skip it. And this is a best how it works. And funny thing, but blending works not only with machine learning, but it works with people as well. There is a book about Garry Kasparov and the wall. There was a chess play, and guy play against the wall. It was, I don't remember, 10,000 or 60,000, and there was a forum where you can give your strategy. And later on, Garry Kasparov said, but it was the greatest, most challenging match for him, because how it was played. He couldn't never guess what strategy comes after second play. And however, with people, sometimes it doesn't work because we follow. Sometimes we go in a herd mood, and so we have a leader, and we just follow the leader, what leader says. So coming back to the algorithms, I would say never try to blend similar models. So if you have random forest, decision trees might act very similar.
Did you just do that? Would you automate this blending process, or do you just do it manually?
Manually.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I have a model which for me it was okay. It was producing some outcomes, and tests show me that okay, I'm doing fine. So the question was like, okay, but the website gives only historical data, and I need to say that the website has like two ways to invest. One is like automated way where you define very vaguely what filters you would like to apply. Country, what grade, what like age, but it's very few filters. Another way you yourself need to go and pick up the loan. So what I did, I use a Python framework, Scrappy, to go to the page and just pull all information about all loans available at this moment. My algorithm would go to the page and then check URL, and if there is no that URL in database, it will scrap and save into CSV file. And it works well. It's not the first project that I use. However, you have to keep in mind, if the website gets a facelift, you do it again. It takes time, but then it works again for 1-2 years. So now I have real-time data. So I can run my model on my machine. And I have like a list of loans in which I would like to invest. So I was running for like, I don't know, 1 month until I get bored and I thought, okay, but maybe my computer can do investment as well, you know. So from testing environment, I long time ago found Selenium, and for me it was wonderful. So basically, it's those who are from IT sector knows what, like, there is a unit test where you test functions. However, Selenium tests your web interface. So instead of going straight to function, you go to user interface, and then you say, okay, this form, this field, write this one, click a button. And Selenium does that, and it does very good. However, Selenium by default works as a browser, so it opens your Firefox or Chrome, and it does all these steps. So if you want to to run on a headless machine, you need to use Python, not Python, Phantom JS browser. I don't know what it stands behind that, but you need to find, look for this. So what I did is once they have real data, it gets a list where to invest. It goes to the website via Selenium, and it does investment for me, and I can live happily. Now infrastructure. So next thing when I thought, okay, this is still like I have to run from my machine. I would like to run it on the server. So I have very powerful server, Raspberry Pi. So when I try to do that on Raspberry Pi, like install all frameworks, Python frameworks like Scrappy, and then I tried something from R, it says, okay, after 4 hours, it says, okay, I can't do that. So then I thought, okay, there is a DigitalOcean, and this is equivalent of Amazon AVC. So you can rent a server, and you can rent very cheaply. It's the lowest price is $5 per month, so it sounds good. And so I rented the server, and I left Raspberry Pi as a control center. So basically, Raspberry Pi would run a script, create an instance on DigitalOcean, and then run scripts to scrap data to make an investment, and then shut down the server. However, when I tried the first 2 weeks, I didn't realize that shutdown is not enough on ABC or digital or on DigitalOcean. What you have to do,
that showed just how dangerous that is.
yeah. What you have to do, you have to delete that instance and save your instance of virtual machine on S3 probably,
Yeah.
on ABC, and DigitalOcean has some droplets and images. So like to save it something on like on S3. So then I realized, okay, I was stupid spending $10 per month. Now I know how to do. So then I come up to, okay, yeah. So it was working very well until I went on holidays. So the last day I checked my this DigitalOcean, and what I found is like for 7 days it was running for every day it was running 4 instances of a machine and never shutdowns. So it was 28 computers spinning, and it was just went for holidays, and I got 28 machines spinning, and never happened before. So I tried to claim and try to find what's the problem, and Digital Ocean say, do you have log files? I say, yeah, but it's like 2 lines. Sorry, then you fall, you know. So I paid my bill and moved forward. And now I have very huge log file, and I have like other system. If something doesn't work, it would send me message. But lesson taken. So now coming back to the Bondora. So we have risks as following: liquidity. If you are like private investors, probably liquidity is not a problem for you. Like you can probably throw 100,000 and it would take, it would consume. However, if you have more and you're willing, then the question what you are doing here instead of sitting somewhere in nice countries, you know. So for private investors, it's good. For companies, like for the banks, I don't think, but for like hedge funds, I don't think that it's enough liquidity to move to such system. Next thing is like company. Company, like as I said, is in Estonia, so company has its own risk to declare bankruptcy. In case of bankruptcy, there is institutions would prevent you, but this is the risk that you have to take into account. Then we move to like the last point here is the country, and now you know how many of you visited Estonia? Probably like 1/3 most. You know, then I mean, if you never been, like, are you willing to send your money there? I am. I know the country. So then it's like, do you know what it's besides Russia? You know, are you okay with that? So these are the risks that you have to take into account. Now performance. This is my performance, and what Bondora claims, what majority of investors gets 15-20% per year. So I'm lagging. Of course, as an investor, I have explanation which will come very soon, and so that's it. And there are some great amount of investors doing more than 25%. You can, if you are a user of a Bondora, you can filter out, like, I'm not sure if you can filter out investors by amount, invested amount. It would be, of course, interesting to see if some guys who has more than 5,000 invested, how they are doing, if this bar is so high. So moving to my own investment, I started in September of 2014. And for 2 months, I was building a model, and I was using Bondora's portfolio management system. And I can, of course, blame them, but it's not good. It didn't work. So basically, what the blue is the repair principle. This is what is current. So this is what people still own to me, and these are overdue. So this is the amount of but problematic amount of money. So, and as you see, I was building until January of 2014. Unfortunately, because this amount comes after 60 days. So 16, probably 16 working days. I'm not sure. Either I'm doing very well, either it will come a bit later. So this is performance of model only, because I stopped using Bondora's portfolio management system somewhere in November. Voila, that's it. Any questions?
Size of the loans? That is it very wide? Is it small?
You're talking about money.
Money, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. It would be interesting to see in time. But nowadays it's like 2,000 is the lowest amount, and like 6,000. So 6,000 is, or 10,000 is the highest. So in the middle, let's say 3 to 5 somewhere is the average. And of course it depends on the country, because for example, you can, I'm not sure if you can see here, yeah, here, for example, income. The income you would find, but the ranges are very, very different. In Finland, like net salary would start like 1,500 as a minimum, and it would go to 3,000. However, in Estonia, 650, it's like, it's average. So it's nothing extraordinary to see there. Then, like Finns, like existing liabilities, wow, it's like 10,000 is normal. For Estonians, however, it's like, because salaries are low and the existing liabilities are like very, very low.
And are the existing liabilities compulsory to put in, or you put them in just if you want? As a user, when you're...
I think because in Estonia you can do cross-check, so you're better off to do that. I mean, you ask and you are better off not to lie, I suppose.
And another question. Can you go to the feature importance space? What were the most important features that you found?
Country. So if it's Spain, never invest there. It's unfortunately I didn't draw.
That's your holiday, you make your mind.
Maybe I have. It's this. I have somewhat decision tree. But no, I don't have it here. So decision tree has the same, but only three first one, and it's the same. Like countries, like Spain, is like no, and then it's like in case of some.
And then the second one was VIX.
Yes.
Volatility index. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So then it's VIX and total interest, which is a mix of interest and duration. So it's not pure feature. I mixed that. I derived that. Then funded amount, interest, payment to income, age.
And do you have any indication whether the person has already asked for a loan before?
Yes, yes, and that is it's I think it's great feature as well.
And does it feature our number of previous applications?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the applicants tell you what industry they're in if they are employed.
Yes.
Have you considered using any form of sentiment analysis by industry and country?
You know, I didn't run any statistics, but what I saw by checking like first 2 months, there are like 3 or 4 major industries, like social workers. These are the worst. I mean, they are poor. I mean, I have to admit. Really, I mean, any country is like Finland, social worker, they go to that side. Then it's transport and not transport. The second is like these who works as cashiers. You know,
Shop clerks or something.
yeah, like that. There is a category. Then like builders and transport, but these probably come up to that website because of poor finance management. I suspect, and it's my only suspicion. But no, I didn't go beyond that.
Do you have any hypothesis why they're using it? Is it because they cannot get a loan from a bank or other means?
My suspicions, like I saw a lot of refinancing. So basically what I have in some cases, and it's similar in my countries, there are like now service provider like SMS credit. So you get a credit on the spot, but the interest rate is like 50%. And then once you're sober, you are looking for better ways to get rid of that credit. So you go to that website, and it's probably, instead of 50, you get 30, 20.
Where would that show in that profile? How can you tell from the profile that looks like that somebody's refinancing?
It's here on the I don't have it like existing liabilities, and here it would be might be like the bank. Okay, bank it's okay, but like payday loan. But sometimes there is like really SMS credit, and in Baltic countries they're the same company, but there are like 10 of them. So, and I saw like someone has like 10 loans from different providers. So you want to consolidate your loans, and they have for like 25% consolidated.
This data makes it a good basis for a social argument about modern.
About what?
About the financing, about the loans that people have. They're available.
Yeah, but I mean,
if you go to the bank, he's not going to give it to you. See, people are just making it there available.
Yeah, but you are arguing that these service provider quick credits are not good for society, or?
No. Just to see, like for example, this is the first time I've heard that people can have a liability on SMS, right? I mean, because of the SMS credit. It's a way how to look at society in the way that people have loans and the different social classes. It's a different perspective, nothing to do with.
Okay.
Yeah, because Wonga.com has had a lot of controversy in the UK and Ireland because of when they broke down who was actually borrowing from it. It wasn't their marketing campaign is young professionals who just want to like buy a few extra beers, but it's really not. It's people who are in serious financial trouble and don't have the understanding of finance necessarily to make good decisions.
But I see that platform as our future. Like banks would of course say no, you would never ever go to such platform. But come on, after 10 years, maybe the picture will be different. I mean, this is like middleman gets less. I hope, but they get less. Now this site serves probably the poor ones, not the rich one who can go to 10 banks and get like.
But Lending Club, is that in the same area? It's a US one. It's doing very well. I mean, it's got a lot of venture capital and a lot of interested.
But as you can see, for me, the growth of the business is amazing. Maybe I never worked for startup, and you probably in startup maybe you go like that. But for me, it's similar. I mean, this is not about users who came to visit your site. It's about guys who come to request money, and you get a margin out of this money. This is about real money. It's not about fake users who is worth of $15, but I don't know how to get this $15.
Well, it's got a clear business model.
That's also due